Erev Tov, Rabotai. Let's continue with Pirkeh Avot. So we have here towards the end of the chapter, second chapter. It says, "Ve'im lamata Torah harbe, notnim lecha sachar harbe." So what does that mean? If a person learns a lot of Torah, they give him a lot of reward. So what does that mean? A person shouldn't say, I learned a little bit, it's okay, that's good enough. I learned something over here a little bit, one halacha over here, one halacha over there, a little bit chumash, a little bit this, a little bit midrash, I learned something. Yeah, okay, that's good, but you should know, right? If you learned a lot, they give you a lot of reward. They give you a lot more if you learn more. So what does that mean? A person should have a systematic approach, to Talmud Torah. Start from beginning, basics, right? As we said in the beginning, first you got to learn Aleph Bet, then you got to learn the words, the meaning of the words, Lashon HaKodesh, Aramit. Then you got to start doing Chumash, right? From beginning to end, you got to learn everything, right? With the Targum, Onkelos, Rashi, right? First you got to do that. Chamisha Chumshe Torah, Bach, knocked it out. Okay, now what's next? Go to Navi, right? You learn the Nevi'im Rishonim, Nevi'im Achronim. Then what's next? Ketuvim, right? Ketuvim is next. So Ketuvim is Tehillim, Mishle, right? Shira Shirim, Megillot, all these things. Divrei Hayamim. So how many books do you have in the Tanakh? 24 books. 24, right? Chamisha Chumshe Torah and also Nevi'im and Ketuvim. So altogether it's 24 books. So you gotta learn, first of all, 24 books. Systematic, everything you gotta learn. Top to bottom. Then, once you finish that, next what? Mishnayot, right? Mishna. Learn Mishnayot. And you learn, how many Sdarim of Mishnah are there? Six Sdarim. There are, right? Altogether, there's 60 Mishnayot. 60, right? Shishim. Shishim Giborim, right? Like Shlomo Melech said. 60 Mishnayot there is. Six Sdarim. 60 Mishnayot, 60 Masechtot. After you do that, what's next? Talmud. Right? Talmud, how many Masechtot do we have in the Talmud Bavli? 30, Shloshim. Right? And then we have also Yerushalmi. More over there. So you have Talmud, it's a lot, so that's a lot of Torah. When you learn Talmud, this is a big Torah. They say, right, that they say the word Gaon. You know what the word Gaon means, right? Genius, right? Ilui. This is what it means. Gematria of Gaon, how much is it? Gematria. Gimel, 3, right? Aleph, 1, 4. Vav, 6, right? 10, right? And then you have Nun. How much is that? 50. Altogether, 60. Right? So if you learn 60 Masechtot of the Mishnah, that's why you are called Gaon. If you know all 60 Masechtot, you're Gaon. That's why the Gematria is 60. So whoever learned all the Talmud, Mishnayot, Gemarot, 60, he is called Gaon. This is the thing. That's why the Gematria is like that. So that's the thing, everything is systematic. But it doesn't end over there. Right? There's more. So what does that mean? If you learn Talmud, you also have to learn the poskim, right? Rishonim, Achronim, the commentaries on the Talmud. Rambam, Rif, Rosh, Tosfot, Rashi, right? And more and more and more and more and more. All those commentaries on the Talmud. How long does it take to learn this? A long time. Many, many years you have to learn all this stuff, right? And then you go to Bet Yosef, Shulchan Aruch, Rishonim, Achronim, all together, right? Once you do all this, and then when you finish all this, Midrashim, right? Zohar Kadosh, many, many more books, This is the whole Torah. And then you go to the Kabbalah, Sifrei Kabbalah, right? Kitvei Arizal, and the Zohar, and all these things. A lot more Torah. So if a person learns all this, Bemet, he learned everything. That's it, He's got everything in his hands. So if a person learns like this, you should know that Hashem is going to give you a big reward because you learned a lot of Torah. You learned the whole Torah. From beginning to Z, from A to Z, It's not just a little bit here, a little bit there, No, it's not like that. The whole thing. Not everybody, is able to do this. You have to have a special neshama for this. To learn all this Torah. A person has to be very, very special, very unique. Right? So if he has a special neshama, but if he doesn't, even if he doesn't have a special neshama, he was born with a neshama which is not so strong, but because he has desire to do so, like we said yesterday, he can make it up anyway and still do it. He can still become gadol. Even though, so that's the thing, all these things you learn in the Torah. So then Hashem is going to tell you, listen, you learned the whole Torah, I'm going to give you a lot of reward. You're going to get a big prize here. You're not just a regular guy. You're Gaon. You're Tzaddik, right? Gadol Ador. It's not the same thing, right? It says in Tana Dev Eliyahu, right? You know how this book was written, right? Tana Dev Eliyahu. Why they call it Dev Eliyahu? Because it was taught by Eliyahu Navi. All the Torah over there is from Eliyahu Navi. Tana Dev Eliyahu. So it says over there that if a person learns all the Torah like this, as we said, right? Chumash, Tanakh, Mishna, Talmud, Midrash, Halacha, ba. So it says, Miyad, Shara alav Ruach HaKodesh. Right away he gets Ruach HaKodesh, this person. Can you imagine? They give him Ruach HaKodesh. Automatic. Automat. Why do they give him Ruach HaKodesh? What is Ruach HaKodesh? You people know what this means? That means they tell you things in Min HaShamayim that nobody knows over here, things that nobody knows. Ruach HaKodesh. You have information that nobody else has. About the future, about what's going on in the world. This is Ruach HaKodesh. So when he learns all the Torah, he gets Ruach HaKodesh. Why is this? What's the purpose of that? So the purpose is like this, If you already learned the whole Torah from beginning to end, right, A to Z, now Hashem says, oh, you did all that? Oh, Chazaku Baruch. So you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to give you Ruach HaKodesh to give you more things that you didn't learn in the Torah. Secrets, that I'm going to teach you with Ruach HaKodesh. Like Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, like the Arizal, alav shalom, right? All these big Mekubalim. Oh, how did they get all this Kabbalah, all these secrets? Because they had Ruach HaKodesh. So what does that mean? We're coming to them, Malachim, like Eliyahu Navi, and teaching them Torah. Can you imagine Eliyahu Navi comes to you and tells you, Juk, 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 hello. Here, I'm here to teach you. You ready to learn from me? I teach you now Torah. Right? That's what it is, So the Gedolim, the big Chachamim of the generation, Eliyahu Navi comes to them to teach them more Torah that they never learned before. All kinds of Kabbalah, all kinds of Sodot, all kinds of secrets. This is what it is, So he gets more and more and more and more like this, and there's no end to it. You go until the end. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you a lot of reward, if you learned all this Torah. The reward is also in Olam Hazeh and also in Olam Haba. By the way, what is the reward for Torah? What is the reward?
Longevity.
Longevity. Arichut Yamin. What else? You said something? What else? What else you got? So the truth is, right, there's a pasuk, right? It says, Orech Yamim bimina ubismola osher v'chavod. This is what it says about the Torah. So what does that mean? Like you said, right? Orech Yamim bimina. On the right side of the Torah is Orech Yamim. They give you longer life. They extend your life because you learn Torah. And on the left side, Osher v'chavod. What does that mean? Wealth and kavod. Good life. Right? They give you. So one is coming from the right side, the other one is coming from the left side. Why like this, Why? I'm sorry. Yeah. So the right is the good side, the chesed, the good side. So Leshem Shamayim, So Leshem Shamayim, they give you Orech Yamim, right? But on the left side is more, dinim, right? Judgment, So over there, it's the inferior side. So over there, there's Osher v'chavod. What does that mean? In Olam Hazeh, they give you also wealth. And they give you kavod. Even in Olam Hazeh, they give you reward. So you get reward in Olam Haba and also in Olam Hazeh. Everywhere, right? They give you. Doesn't matter where you're going. The Torah. Also, another thing they said, right? It says in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. How do the people in Eretz Israel, right? Over there, the tzaddikim, how do they become wealthy? What's the secret? So they say, why? Because they support the Torah, They give tzedakah, for Torah, for yeshivot, for kolelim, for Talmidei Chachamim. That's how they get rich. They give money to Torah causes. You know what I mean? Not like, some silly people, what they do, right? They go and give money to all kinds of, nonsense, to build some kind of a theater, teatron, or, stadium, you're giving money for this nonsense, for the goyim, So the goyim can get your money? All the nonsense? Teatron. He gave money to build a teatron. So some actors can come and stand there, like a bunch of, jackasses, and do something, This is what you gave your money for. You gave $1 million for this? For this shtuyot? What a waste. What a waste of money. Chaval, You could have given it to Torah. Hashem is going to make you rich, and you're going to get reward for that Torah. Which one is better, So it depends where you put your money. That's the thing, So if you support the Torah, this is how you get wealthy. Osher v'chavod. Right? Supporting the Torah. So either way, right? Whether you learn the Torah or you support the Torah, Hashem gives you in reward in this world and reward in the next world. So you see, right? Hashem has a lot of things to give you if you learn Torah and you support the Torah. Because this is what Hashem wants in this world, They say the Chazal, the Pasuk says, right? Im lo briti yomam v'layla, chukat hashamayim ba'aretz lo samti. You know what that means, right? If it wasn't for the Torah, Hashem says, I wouldn't create the world. I have no other purpose for the world, What purpose is there? What else is there? I created the world only for one thing. So people can sit and learn Torah. That's the thing, So He has a lot of reward to give you if you sit and learn Torah. Especially if you learn a lot of Torah, He'll give you a lot of reward. That's the thing, That's what we're saying. Okay, let's do a little bit more and we'll stop. So it says, we'll finish the parak over here. נותנים לך שכר הרבה, ונאמן הוא בעל מלאכתך שישלם לך, right? שכר בפעולתך. So he says, right, as we mentioned already a couple of days ago, right, Hashem is Ne'eman, right? He's faithful to pay to you, your reward. So don't worry, don't be doubtful and say, I'm not sure, I give a lot of money to yeshivot and kolelim, I give a lot of money to Talmidei Chachamim. But I don't know, Hashem is really going to give me all this stuff? So don't think like that, For sure Hashem is going to give you, and there's no question about it. Right? Right, tell you guys, let's talk, tachlis, right? What's going on in this world today over here in New York City, right? Who do you have in New York, in Brooklyn? Right, the Flatbush, you have a Syrian community, right? You should know, right? There's a lot of over there, milliarderim, milliardaire, not millionaire, milliarderim by them. In the Syrians. Milliarderim,
Jewish people?
Yeah, Jewish people. Oh, what do? They do good things with it. I'll tell you what they do, right? So I'll tell you. So what happens, right? With these people, how did they get so rich? They're the richest community. Nobody has money like them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody can touch them. You know what I mean? Over here we have millionaire, but over there they have milliardaire. Bigger scale, One day, there was, what do you call it? One day there was one guy, walking down in Manhattan, the street. So, they were walking on Broadway, right, over there. So he told, one to the other, he tells him, he says, you should know, he says, most of the buildings over here on Broadway owned by Syrian guys. Who do you think owns them? That's what it is. You should know, by the way, that when the World Trade Center was knocked down, 9/11, remember, right? Lo aleinu, who owned that building? There was a Syrian guy who owned that building at that time. It was a Syrian guy. So that's what it is. I'm telling you that the reason why they get all this money, why? Because they support the Torah. That's what it is. They're like Shevet Zevulun. Zevulun supports the Torah. They have the zchut to support the Torah. All the yeshivot, they give. Whether it's Ashkenazi yeshivot or Sephardi yeshivot, doesn't matter. They give to everybody. Lakewood, Brooklyn, Flatbush, Yerushalayim, Bnei Brak, all the yeshivot is coming from their pocket. And that's the secret, that's how they get rich. That's what it says in the Gemara, How they get rich? Because they support the Torah. So Hashem has a lot of reward to give you, right? And don't worry, He's Ne'eman. If you don't believe, go to the Syrians, they'll tell you. They'll tell you what money they're making over there. They'll explain to you. You don't get it. Okay, so that's the thing, right? So He's Ne'eman to give you. Right, so he says that also, So Matan Sacharan Shel Tzadikim Lavo. So you should also know, right? We're finished here. That you should know how much reward the tzaddikim are getting in Olam Haba. You don't even know, right? Olam, right? Ain lo ra'ah. Whatever is going to be the reward over there, nobody even saw what's going to be the reward there. It's going to be much greater than the reward over here. Over here it's peanuts. Nothing compared to what's going to be over there. So that's the real reward. The real reward is in Olam Haba. The Rambam says, Hashem made Olam Haba. You know why? Because He can't in this world, Olam Hazeh, He can't give the full reward for the mitzvot. That people do. It's not possible to give the full reward over here. So that over there, it's a time for reward, Olam Haba. So over there, Ain lo ra'ah, nobody even saw what's going to be over there, the reward. It's going to be so great. Like it says, right, in the Mishnah, then everybody, everybody's going to get over there, the ones who learn Torah, 305 olamot, 305 worlds. Not neighborhoods, not countries, worlds, olamot he's going to get. Can you imagine? 300 olamot. Why? Because he learned Torah. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ואמן. רבי חנן כשבר, עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעוזק ישראל, ולפיך הכי בא להם צוהר מצוות שנאמר אדוני חפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.